Oh, that was the pregame. That was the pregame. Oh, that was the pregame.
Yeah.
Oh, Raul.
He ain't know
This
it
is
was
how we're
coming.
gonna start Raul now.
Nah, he ain't know it was coming. He ain't know. Yeah.
Woo! My creatives was good, man. Listen, when I say that, you already know when the ha go. It's neighborhood Ruger Sprayer, Soldier of Hip Hop, Reemo Meerak. We're back with another episode of Cuts. You know what the Cuts stand for? Culture, Urban Technology, as far as now my creators. You know how this goes, man. When you get the legends in the building, special guests in the building, nonetheless, to my right, to y'all left, you know what I mean? Oh, man, where can we go? Man, we're talking one of the main DJs, producers, and one of the most legendary hip-hop groups ever in hip-hop history, the Wu-Tang Clan. This man is the originator of the most iconic logo, the beats, everything. I'll even give you a little story time. When I was at the private listening, I found out he's from Southside, Queens. I'm from Northside. You know I am. Yes, I'm Harlem too, but I'm from Northside, Queens, LA all day. So, definitely in this interview, we're definitely going to ask him a key important question. But nonetheless, we got the God, the homie Mathematics in the building. What's good, man?
What's good, Reemo?
Nah. Chilling, man. I'm just ecstatic. I'm gonna hold my fandom as much as I can, but overall, when it comes to legendary figures like yourself, definitely, give you the flowers and the praise and everything that magnitude, and just honored and just overall just blessed that you guys are willing to give me your time. You know what I'm saying? And for what you've done, you know what I'm saying, it's been immaculate of your career. And let's just get right into it. I mean, we definitely got this new project out right now, Black Samson, the Bastard Swordsman. Like that name alone is just so like it's bold, but it gives it like that. Or keeps it that original Wu essence, that Wu energy. For you, I want to know, like, how did you come up about that, and also too, in this upcoming album, how much of it did you really try to make sure it was within the theme of the album? Take us into that.
Well, the name came because you look at Black Samson. Samson in the Bible was strong.
Right.
It's like he took on a whole army with the jawbone of an ass. You know what I mean? It's like, so Black Samson, which also goes back to me growing up watching blaxploitation movies. Black Samson was a blaxploitation movie. The movie itself was it was cool, but I grew up and I was raised on blaxploitation movies like Superfly, The Mac, Trouble Man, Cotton Comes to Harlem, Together Brothers, let's do it again.
Uptown Saturday Night.
Yeah. It's like all them joints is what made me was part of my development, as well as the karate movies.
Right.
So the Bastard Swordsman, he was somebody who wasn't even supposed to be who he became to be. He wasn't even supposed to learn kung fu, but became a master. It's like he grew, he evolved. He went into his cocoon state, came out, and he was crazy. So Bastards, I applied that to this because I'm a swordsman at the end of the day, being a DJ, cutting 1 and 2. And then I felt the album was strong. I know the album is strong. So it's Black Samson, the Bastard Swordsman. So it's a reflection of that. So as far as production-wise, production was real important because I didn't really have the exact title when I first started making it. But when I made the first song was Claudine, and it had that whole feel to it. That set the tempo. And that right there, it was nostalgic for me. It took me back to that. The music alone, everything about it. Even, because I actually made it when my mom's passed. The night she passed, I made that beat.
That to her.
All praises due. Thank you, bro.
Yes, definitely.
So it was inspiration, and from therefore, the album tone was set, and I stayed within that mold and made sure, for me, production is important because I'm a producer.
Yeah, right.
I graduated from DJ to beat maker to a producer, and I understand that each one has a different hat and a job to do, and I understand the role of each one. So when I mastered making beats, then I had to master production, and production is on a whole different level, if you ask me. That's just me personally.
Right. No, as it should. I mean, look, over the years of what you've done, I mean, we're talking for you, it's damn near 3 decades.
Yeah.
Of influence of beats, rhythms, sound, You know, and I want to ask you this as you were talking about production. I feel in today's music, a good amount of artists and even producers and engineers for that matter, this is like this battling contrast of understanding about BPMs. You know what I'm saying? And the sounds. Do you feel that with that misunderstanding, it's kind of hindered the greatness of music?
Well, what do you mean, like the battle of BPMs?
Yeah, like there's some artists. If you listen to their music, it's like they are not really understanding of it. So it may sound sonically like way off the meter. I mean, even though they want to sound like offbeat and off track, but then again, it's like, all right, if you want to like push it to radio or push it on a movie or something of that magnitude, you know, each platform thereof, they have a certain like parameter, you know what I'm saying, or a certain level for the BPMs to sound. So for you as a producer, like how important is that?
I think it's very important, and for each song it's important, especially when you're putting together a project, because when I put this project together, I'm telling a story from beginning to end.
Right.
So from the start to the end, I want to take you on a ride. I don't never want you to go down here. If I start here, I want to keep taking you up, level you out, then bring you back up.
Right.
You know, there's no dips. It's just leveling out. It's like, all right, you take this moment to level out, but enjoy what's going on. I think that's an important part of production. And that's based on, like you said, the BPM of things. Understanding BPM, because I think my son produces too, right?
Shout out to the son.
Yeah, Wise Beats.
Beats. Shout out to Wise Beats, man.
And he's dope. Now, me and him, we speak two different languages when it comes to music, but I understand. Because he does, you know, his thing is Fruity Loops, you know, the MP. We both use the MP.
Right.
So we can relate there. I understand Fruity Loops too, because I messed with it before. And I have Fruity Loops, of course, in the studio because he messes with it.
Right.
So I dabble with it. Now, with Fruity Loops, and I noticed a lot of, like, younger producers, they may track a beat. Let's just say it's 140 beats per minute. Right? So in 140 beats per minute for a younger producer, it gives them more space to put like the extra all in between.
Right.
I would track the beat, me personally, right? And if you half of 140 is 70. Right. I would do it at 70 beats per minute. Because at 70, 140, you just getting the full 1, 2, 3, 4. You get more clicks in it. You know what I mean? Right. But I would do it at 70 beats per minute because 70 beats per minute gives me a drive more like this.
Right.
And I can still play within the parameters of the beats that's in between, because in between each quarter, you know, you could break it down to the eighths to the 16ths. I think at 140, and the way they do it with everybody might not use Fruity Loops. They do it, you know, by opening up the joints and break. You know, it's kind of it's right there in front of your face.
Right.
When I do it if I use my ASR or if I'm using Pro Tools, I'm gonna do it at the 70. So with 70, I understand. Same thing with 140. It's not. I think it's just different languages. Sometimes you could give an illusion that a beat is faster when it's slower, or vice versa. It depends how you do your drums and how you space them out.
Right.
Jizza once told me, this was a long time ago, and it applies to production, but as an MC, when the beat is fast and it's mad fast, he rhymes slow.
Okay, so it's pretty much reverse.
Right.
Or inverse.
Right, and when the beat is slow, he can rhyme faster. And I was like, wow, I had to analyze that one day, and I applied it into making music, because the voice ain't nothing but an instrument in all reality. So if you hear the cadence is da 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 da, and that's in between them quarter, you know, like the kick and the snare, like which is the normal beat, boom, da, boom, da. It's like da 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 da, or you could go da 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 da. You could break it down, but it's the same thing, but one sounds slower and one sounds faster, but it's the same tempo.
Right.
So I just think it's understanding both sides of the coin. Whether it's 140 or if it's 70, it's the same thing. It's just the space that you're using within that beat tempo. And then sonics can become clearer when it's further apart, when the music is, you have more space in it, right? And the thing about space and sound, because sound travels at 1,120 feet per second.
Right.
But that's only between the temperatures of 59 degrees and 62 degrees Fahrenheit, right? And that's just based because sound travels off of bouncing. So if daytime or at nighttime, things seems to be louder than in the daytime. Because in the daytime, it's more molecules in the air, especially when it's hot. Yeah. And when it's hot, it's definitely more molecules. So now, even when you're speaking, it's bouncing off of molecules. Bing, ding, 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 ding to get here. But at nighttime, it's cooler. Molecules are further apart. So now it's bing, bing, bing. So things are louder at night. But it's the same thing when you're dealing with the space and the sonics of what you're creating. So you have to understand how sound travels. You have to understand the frequencies that you're using. I seen Ye break it down real good, breaking down the 808 on the frequency, and he made me go into my books like, oh wait, hold on, because it's something about the 808, and Riz always say, nah, certain frequencies will do certain things, and when he was dropping it and he broke it down, I suggest that when people speak, you listen. Always listen, whether you agree or not. But do your research to find the answers, because sometimes it's jewels in it and stuff you might have been doing, didn't realize it. And once you realize what you was doing, now you can grow and blossom even more, because now you know. It's like, oh, so what I was doing was right. And this is the effect. But now you have an equation says how to make that.
Woo! My grades, Jesus. Mahalia Jackson of Christ. Yo, real talk, I'm glad you talked about that. I think it's very important within this culture, you know what I'm saying, for what it's built. It's been built for 50 years. We're in year 51. And for me, with this platform, this is the reason why we do cuts. You know what I'm saying? Because we want people like yourself and many figures that are coming here and power players thereof that are moving the culture forward to really, break it down. You know what I'm saying? I feel because we got so many things. We got phones. We all got phones. We're looking at our phone. We're looking for answers on the phone. It's like, are we really understanding it? Just like how you just broke it down. Are we really understanding when it comes to music? And I think even within our culture, the better the understanding, the better the music comes out. That's just me. I don't know about for you, but for me, I've always felt that way for a very long time in this culture. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to take your time with the music. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the marketing is always going to be the marketing. I mean, it is what it is. The business of it is always going to be the business of it. But in the same token, if you really understand what it is, if you understand the BPMs, you understand the sonic, the sounds, understand how it's going to bounce off, how it's going to, evoke a feeling in somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's key.
Yeah, it is key. Because music is emotion. You feel music.
Right.
I like... you can feel art because I draw. You can see things, but music will touch your soul in a way that nothing else can.
Right.
It'll just have you it can mesmerize you. It can take you. You can have a bad day, the worst day of your life, but you hear the right song, everything is all right.
That's what I'm saying. Let's get back to it. Black Samson, the features. Wow, brother. Woo! I mean, besides. I was making a joke while on the train right here about you using the cheat code. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But
my boo brother.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. But let's go 38 Special. Benny the Butcher.
Dope.
Oh my
Benny,
God.
dope.
Corrupt.
Yeah.
Ralph McDaniels. Yeah. Cool G Rap. Another Queen. GG Rap. Queens. Yeah. Hempstead. If I'm not mistaken.
No, Corona, Queens.
No, Corona, Queens, yes. Yep. But did he make stomping grounds around Hempstead as well, or no? If I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I maybe corrected, maybe right, maybe wrong in that, but definitely still Queens, QGTM.
Yep.
For you, I want to know, what was the chopping block looking like in regards to that? What was the exact range? Was that who you exactly wanted, or did that come out of 20 that you threw on the wall? All right, 20 people, 40 people. How did that come about?
Well, it came about because there's always individuals I wanted to work with.
Okay.
And when I got the opportunity to converse and work with them, like G-Rap, no brainer.
Oh yeah, of course.
No brainer.
Buffalo.
You know, yeah. 38 Special, no brainer. He's crazy with his shit. Benny too. So, you know, you could say Chop and Block too, because I came from an era like when Wu first started coming in through them doors. A lot of dudes got behind the mics on a lot of them beats and didn't make it. Because you had to be incredible to make that song.
Right.
Whether you was part of the clan or not.
Right.
It's like, you know, certain brothers are here and be like, yo, what he just say? Wait, hold on. I gotta come better. Or you know, I even heard brothers say, nah, that's perfect right there. It's like, what else can I do to make that even better? So sometimes you gotta know like what's perfect and what's not. And knowing that when you're putting together an album, because of course I did more songs, but when you formulating an album and you telling a story, everything has to fit in the right place.
Right.
Because one wrong misstep could take you off.
Oh yeah, my fault.
It'll take you off. So, yeah, I mean, and I was fortunate enough to get great product out of everybody who came through. So it was kind of tough. It was really kind of hard. It was kind of tough, but it also makes for, you know, bonus songs or next project, things of that nature.
Yeah, let's stay on that with that energy. Speaking of energy, what was the energy like in the process of this project, production wise? As far as in the booth and the studio, can you take us in that? Was there any like creativity like best creativity moments or emotionally moments per se?
Oh, of course. And me personally, when I deal with a joint, I like to build with a brother and let him know, like, all right, this is what I had in thought for a song, and this is, you know, you lay it out there. But as a producer, I realized that other MCs, or I ain't gonna say other MCs in general, they're artists too. So sometimes they may hear something themselves and be like, nah, I want to attack the beat this way. So I always give them that opportunity. I express what I express, but I give them an opportunity to be an artist too, because I got to express what I wanted to when I made the beat. Mm-hmm. Some brothers will see your vision. Some brothers may not. And some brothers may be like, you know what, I'm going to go with what you gave me because it's your vision. Some brothers will be like, nah, I'm going to do this. And they take it somewhere else. And it's like, wait, hold on. I like that. You know? If it works, it works. As a producer, that's how I look at things. If certain things work, they work. You know, I seen something with Earth, Wind, and Fire when they was talking about September. And a producer of that song was saying that he didn't like the hook. He thought, he was like, nah, he was mad that it was on there. And Maurice White was like, nah, don't worry about it. Trust me, it's going to work.
Right.
And it's a hit. It worked.
Cookout classic.
It worked.
Cookout classic.
It worked.
At parties, everything.
But it works both ways.
Right.
Because Michael Jackson, as great as he was, he didn't want the violins to start on, what song was that? Oh shit.
I got
brain fog. Oh my goodness.
I know of the track you're talking about. It's not off the Dangerous album. It's
off the wall. It's on off the wall. But it's one of the tracks, and Quincy Jones was like, "Are you crazy?"
Right.
So that sets the whole scene right there. So they fought over it, but Quincy won out, of course, and it's classic. So it works both ways. Sometimes it's give and take when you're dealing with making records.
Right.
But you got to be willing to accept on both sides. You got to be willing to accept. But, yeah, it was some emotional things, even with Ghost, because with Ghost on Claudine, it's like we didn't really get a chance to really talk it through, but he hit it right on the nail.
Wow.
He hit it right on the nail.
On a one-take hold type status? Damn.
He hit it, like the subject matter and everything. He hit it right on the nail because I made that because my mother passed, you know, and he's a brother who lost his mother already too. So it was like the music spoke to him. It spoke to him. And sometimes you're just on the same page, and that's a lot with me and my brothers. We on the same page. Like me and Ghost, we did a lot of joints together. Me and Meth, same page. You know, it just worked like that. So, it's a little different when you're working with certain brothers you never worked with before. But when the end result come out like it should,
right? Nah, that's what's up, man. And for me, like with this project, it's just like not only as an older like Wu fan, but just alone, it's like you guys really didn't skip a beat or miss a beat. You know what I'm saying? Because one of your brothers, you know, with Meth, you know, he recently admitted about how, you know, today's fans are not really understanding. That was like a few months. I think it was like last summer when he did Summer Jam, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, him and Red, they were performing. And he was admitting like, hey, you know, some may not understand my music. You know what I'm saying? But for y'all, I feel like it doesn't feel forced. Like it doesn't feel forced that you guys are trying to stay within the modern times. It was like, you know, you stayed to your standard. You stayed to what
you gotta stay true to yourself.
Yourself, right?
You gotta stay
you know
true
what I'm saying?
to yourself. And at the end of the day, if people love you for being yourself, that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
If they don't like you for being yourself, it's all right. You know, it's no love lost because there's so much music out there that you can find what you're looking for, if that's the case. But, you know, for me, I look at it like this because I listen to a lot of different music. Even like with my kids, I listen to music. And, you know, I think that even like with the younger generation, I mean, they doing their thing too. I'm not one of the brothers that's going to shit on the younger generation.
Oh, no, of course not. Nah, that's not how it goes.
You know, you have people that do that for whatever reason. It's their time in all reality. So, you know, they speaking and they can relate to each other. Me, like, I can always add my opinion. Like, I just wish maybe more messages or more this or more that. Like, but then it's there. It's there. I mean, look at Kendrick. Right. Kendrick, to me, what just happened last year, to me, I think was big for the hip-hop music in general because it brought back, all right, people listening to lyrics again, people listening to real hip-hop again, and it's coming from somebody that's not an old head, as they say. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think you have a younger generation now that has ears that's looking for different things and listening. Like, I look at my daughter. She puts me onto a lot of different music out there that's dope. Like, I'm like, oh, word? She's like, you ever heard of this? I'm like, nah, I never heard. And she'll play, and she'll send it to me in a text, and I'll be like, wow, that's dope. That's dope. You know, it's like came across this cat like Red Lotus the other day.
Okay.
Dope. You know, different. Doechii, she's dope. My other daughter loves Doechii.
Shout out to Doechii. Yo, Doechii, real talk. Yo, you won me a bet at work, yo. Shout out to Doechii, son. You won me a bet. You know, because a coworker at work, he thought that you wasn't going to win Album of the Year. And I told him, I said, yo, bro, Doechii's winning that, son. Don't get me wrong. There was some killers in that category for it. But I was like, yo, Doechii's winning that, son. The energy, it just said Doechii. So shout out to you, Doechii. Thank you for winning that bet for me. Word, son.
And it's creativity. She's creative. You know, Kendrick is creative. I think you have to be creative, especially when you're making an album in an industry that has become a single-driven industry because they looking for the next single to bump or the next single.
Right.
When, you know, I come from a school where we made albums, and I want to listen to a whole album from beginning to end. So that's, you know, that's what my focus is on. You know, their focus, you know, or not everybody. Some people focus is just focus on, I want to make this, and this is what's working for me. If it works for you, it works. You know, if you're making beautiful music like that, God, Allah, Jehovah, whoever, bless them. You know what I mean?
But let's touch on that. Do you feel that's more technology driven, or is it more so the involvement, the evolution of people in society?
Well, technology, I think, for me, technology is a beautiful thing because I look at when I first started making beats and the things I used to have to do to make a beat opposed to now, the technology is tremendous. Like, even time, like, I don't sample no more. Like, every once in a blue, I'll be in the lab, I hear something, I may make a sample beat, but I don't use the sample beats because I like to be more creative now. I like to make my own samples. I like to make my own joints. And, but sampling, time stretching. I remember you used to have the time stretch in the ASR. You could start it today and it'll be finished tomorrow. And then it's not what you want. Now you can do it in seconds. We was impressed with the ASR when we found out like you could still play your music while working on your track at the same time.
Wow.
Because a lot of beat machines didn't do that. You have to stop, press play, listen, then stop and go back into what you're doing. Then, you know, a lot of machines didn't do that. And, yeah, I mean, the technology is crazy. Just like even, I remember me and Jizza going to the studio doing certain joints way back, and the big floppy for the SB12, and it took we could go to the store, buy a 40, come back, smoke a blunt, drink a 40, and it's still saving your work.
Right.
Now all you got to do is press Control S. Mm-hmm. Everything you just did is saved.
Man, yo. So I want to get to it. I want to get to it with you. The question I really want to get to. Ice Cream, yo. Real talk. Ice Cream is one of my favorite Wu-Tang tracks. You know what I'm saying? Just everything that was with Ice Cream, right? So we're going to bring it all together. For you being from Southside, how much of an influence did you have for them to do the music video at the legendary Coliseum? Real talk. Let's get into it. How much influence was there, dog?
I had none.
Really?
Nah. When
that was just straight. That was just straight them. I mean, the Coliseum's a legendary place. Yeah,
you
know, everybody came to the Coliseum. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But for them, they were just like, "Yo, it got to be the Coliseum."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 165th Street Mall. Look, I remember, and he's from Staten Island.
Right.
I seen Jesse D from the Force MDs.
Oh wow.
On walking down the block, 165th Street. I'm coming home from school.
What school?
I went to Edison.
Okay. I
went to Thomas Edison High School. So I'm cutting through
out of the triangle offense, Edison, Jamaica, Hillcrest.
Yeah. Yep. Edison, Jamaica, right across the street. Hillcrest, right down the block. Yep. Hillcrest had all the girls. Jamaica had some too, but Hillcrest had
Hillcrest. Shout out to my brother.
I had a lot of peoples up in Hillcrest. I used to go up Hillcrest, hang out all the time.
Right.
I remember, in high school, LL used to come up there. I remember seeing LL up at Hillcrest. I seen a lot of different people come through Hillcrest, or just Jamaica Avenue in general.
Hell yeah.
You know, but I remember the first time I seen Jesse D walking down 165th Street Mall.
Wow.
He had the jerry curls. He had the trench coat. He had a glove on like Mike. He actually had makeup on his face and all that. Jesse D was a superstar.
Right.
But he was out there by himself, walking by himself.
Wow.
You know, we seen him. You know, I'm with some of the guards. We seen him. He's like, "Oh, it's Jesse D." He's like, "Salute." You know, he gave us the peace.
And this is during
this
the ice
is
cream.
in the 80s.
Oh,
no,
okay,
this
okay.
is in the 80s. This
Okay.
is before ice cream.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in high school, like, you know. Yeah.
That's what's up. But definitely like, all right, so bet. So with that, I mean, you answered, but still let's get into it. Just Ice Cream alone, just like the energy. And I got a funny story with that. So I don't know if you remember all the girls that was in Ice Cream video, but the one that y'all called Buddy Picarica, she lived in my building.
Get out of here.
In Flushing.
Wow.
So shout out to my piece in Flushing. I'm about to tell the story. So we was heavy on that song. You know what I'm saying? That was like 94, 95. We was heavy 95. On that song. That was 95. That was the spring. Yep. That was my freshman year at Art and Design. And
you went to Art and Design?
Yeah, I went to Art and Design High School.
I wanted to go to Art and Design.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Nah, son. So bet. So we was heavy on that. So, I remember one day we all chilling in front of the building, and she walked past us. Like, we was like, wait, hold the phone up. That's Buddy Picarica. Yo, hold up. Yo, she live in our building. That's crazy. Yeah. So she, I think, because where I was living at, it's called Darragh Gardens in Flushing. So,
Darragh Gardens, is that by like
Palmanock and all?
Yeah, I'm about to say about Palmanock. I used to ball in Palmanock.
Oh, word? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so bet. So I was living in Darragh, so I was like the gated community type buildings and all that, right? So St. John's Place, I think she dated like one of the St. John's players or whatever.
Okay.
Right? So she lived on the first floor of my building where we lived at. So she'd be in the window. So me and my boys, like idiots, like jerks, we used to stay saying, watch these rat niggas get all over your gun. President Buddy Picarica talking about. You used to be doing that every time we saw her, nonstop. I mean, I don't know how old she is now.
Right.
I'm in mid 40s, so she got to be like either a couple years older or maybe 50 or whatever, right? But yo, just Ice Cream alone. So that's why when you had said the story at the listening party about how long it took y'all to make Ice Cream, like the beat and the production on and all that.
Yeah, that made me want to produce.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I wasn't producing.
Oh, okay.
Until I heard when RZA made Ice Cream, I got a chance to witness that. Like, and I seen him make beats before, but it was just something about Ice Cream that was like, come here.
Wow. That's none. I was like one of the dopest like hip hop beats, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And even just the music video. Like for me, I don't know, maybe for you too, the fact that Wu-Tang came to Queens to do the music video. Like the Queens in you didn't go like, yo, this we the shit. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time, like I said, when Wu came into the game, and I want to touch on it when you had spoke about it before, like when it came to the game, like that rush was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And to my understanding, I believe they were like about 92, 93, around that time, that pocket.
Yep.
And that was, for me, and you may correct me on this, and I've kind of said it, I kind of had hip-hop debates about it. For me, I felt Wu-Tang kind of, in a way, swung the pendulum back in the East Coast.
Yeah. As
far as for like hip-hop. Because you got to remember, so like about 87, 88 is kind of like the East Coast momentum kind of like shifted in a way. Because, you know, that's when you kind of had like LL started going to movies. Rakim and Kane, like their era kind of like not really decreased, but it was like, all right, it wasn't as potent. Not saying their skill set, but as far as like the emphasis of the music, that's kind of like Run DMC was kind of like going down because, you know, times was changing. But then that's when the West Coast kind of came crazy in that time. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? You can correct me if I'm wrong. But then when Wu-Tang came, it was like this like this huge like punch that came to the industry, and it just like shook things up and kind of swung the pendulum back to the East Coast as far as like with gritty and just the edginess of the rap and the music itself. So I don't know if you want to correct me on that or not.
No, I mean that's what you saw. I know for me, right, like NWA and all that, we loved it. We loved hip hop. Personally, it's like I was listening to DOC, I was listening to NWA, I was listening to Above the Law.
Right.
You know, I was listening to Ghetto Boys, Cypress Hills, Scarface when he went solo. Mm-hmm. I mean, Edo G and the Bulldogs up in Boston. So Rakim said it best, and I think it was 88, 87, 88 when he said it. It ain't where you from, it's where you at.
Right.
And it was always dope music around. So I don't think that it was, for me, it wasn't, back then, it wasn't like, oh, he's from over there, we gotta bring it back here. It's like, nah, we was enjoying it all.
Right.
We was enjoying it all. I think once, you know, the record business got bigger and, you know, the sale of records and what they was trying to do, I think, you know, I think the powers that be was putting a wedge in between,
right,
you know, East Coast and West Coast. And because if I wanted to hear a certain type of music, it was available for me to listen because everybody was original. Everybody didn't sound the same.
Right. And
I appreciated that. So if I wanted to hear some, like I said, NWA, I'm listening to that. If I want to hear some G-Rap, I'm listening to that. Cold Chillin' vibes. If I want to hear Public Enemy, I'm listening to that because nobody sounded like none of them. So you had to go to that source to get it. I think when around in the early 90s is when, like, it became something. I think that's when it really became, like, you know, a certain type of divide. I want to say that it wasn't a divide that, for me, I can only speak for myself.
Right.
Because I remember when Snoop came out, like Doggy Style came out, and I think RZA told the story about how Killer loved that album, how he was bringing it around and playing it, and brothers was listening to you know, Snoop and all that. It was all love. Right. You know, it's like they had their story on that side of the coast. We had our story on this side. Right. But you're right, though. Everybody's music was different, and Wu-Tang did bring back a grittiness to it. And then when the divide did come, Wu definitely carried that banner. Then you had then came in another era, like right after that ushered in something, raw hip hop, but more polished and clean.
Right.
You start getting like the Biggie Smalls, who was
The
coming.
Nas's.
Oh, Nas was out.
No,
he was out before us. Nas
right.
was.
Yeah, Illmatic, because Illmatic was like 93, 94.
Yeah, Illmatic was, and you got to think about it. He was on Back to the Grill Again with Third Base. Before that, he was on Live at the Barbecue, Large Professor, dope producer. Breaking Atoms, that album is incredible. That's one of them albums that you would listen to from beginning to end. And, I think that was, I want to say, I might be wrong, that might have been the first time we heard Nas was Live at the Barbecue. I'm not sure if it was that or Back to the Grill Again. I'm not sure which one. But
for me, to my understanding, I feel Live at the Barbecue, because that's when he said the infamous line.
When I was 12, I went to Hell for Snuffing Jesus.
Yeah.
Rap assassin. Yo, and he was young, murdering it. It's like them thoughts alone. That's the creative juices. That's an MC. Everybody's not an MC. Everybody might want to be, but everybody's not an MC.
Right.
That's just like I used to do park jams. When I did park jams, everybody wanted to get behind the ropes and rhyme, but everybody wasn't capable.
Right.
Everybody, not everybody, DJs back then, everybody wasn't a DJ. Everybody couldn't DJ.
Yeah.
Especially back then, you had to have a certain type of skill.
And co-signage.
Yeah.
Co-sign.
Yeah. Because, look, for one, you're risking your life going into the parks, hooking up to the street lamp.
Right.
For two, you risking your equipment, because dudes used to stick people up for equipment. Not only the stick-up kids, then you worried about something happening as a shootout and then something happening to your equipment. Or dudes used to roll up to your set and battle you for your equipment. You know what I mean?
That's a whole fact.
Yeah, it was a whole. And then I done seen MCs that came behind the rope trying to rhyme, and the whole park then beat his ass. Like get him from behind, grab him, escort him out the park.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Man, whoo, my career. Oh my God, so much nostalgia we've been talking about here. But real talk. For you, what do you want to tell your younger self about what's happening now for you in this current time? Like, if you want to look back, like based on what you've seen and everything in the industry, for the last 3 decades and stuff like that. What do you want to tell your younger self about how dope it is now?
Man, it's hard because you go back and you're able to tell yourself something that you know now. But you listen, because that's what makes you, your journey, your travel, how you get to where you are now.
Right.
So the only thing I could say is like, embrace your journey and stay on track. Stay on track. Embrace that journey. That's the only thing I could say, because everything that happened to me along the way made me who I am today.
Right.
You take some of that away, I'm not who I am. I might not be making the records I make. You know what I mean? I might be, who knows?
Nah, that's what's up. Also, let's tap into just this question. I definitely wanted to tap in with you, with the Wu-Tang saga, the TV show. For you looking into it, I know that's probably a question that's probably asked you many a times, but for you in the sense of your lens, based on being a producer and being of knowing of the stories, because you damn near were there, do you feel the series watered down the stories? Do you feel you understand it because you understand of the business and they did the best they could possible with the stories? What do you feel? What do you feel in your insight?
Well, it's TV at the end of the day. So certain things were watered down.
Right.
Certain things was boosted up.
Okay.
Certain things was, I mean. Yeah.
Right. In that regard. But I mean, y'all legacy is still y'all legacy, but
yeah.
But I've always, for me, I'm big on that. You know what I'm saying? Because I've done producing, like as far as like television producing and filming and stuff like that, and just like trying to portray a story. And I'm big on that. Even with documentaries, even though I'm not saying that's a documentary, but as far as like the adaptation of y'all legacy and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on that. And the one thing that I love about y'all, you know what I'm saying? I've seen y'all interviews that all the members did. You know what I'm saying? And each one had a different insight. But I always wanted to know, the reason why I asked you that, because as a producer, you know what I'm saying, you're there. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and then from one producer to another, you understand the story, but also too, you kind of like be like, hey, hold on.
Well, listen. And as a, like you said, you work on things as a producer, certain things make for great TV. And certain things people wouldn't understand, so it's like, oh no, you can't tell that.
Right.
It's like you can tell the form of it, or you can,
right, an adaptation of it, but in the same token, nah.
Yeah. But it was a great show,
right?
And it was a great experience. Big up to Hulu and everybody that worked on Wu-Tang and American Saga.
Right.
Yeah, it was great.
Now that's what's up. All right. So I also want to ask you, and I don't know if you would ever, well, you probably would be, but let's say if a Versus did come out, let's just say if it was Locks, or I'm trying to think of another group, let's say Dipset, or for that matter, any type of group come to y'all. For you, I'm pretty sure, I'm making my assumption, but I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure you would be the DJ for Wu.
Oh yeah, Wu-Tang.
Right,
if it's Wu-Tang.
Right, by far, right?
Yeah.
Could you give a mini preset of your first 10 that you would drop?
Nah, because it depends on who you facing
Battling.
up. Yeah,
Okay.
Who you facing up against. So things could change. Certain things you might want to hold on to. Certain things but it's like, we got so many joints. Our catalog is deep. Whether it's Wu-Tang or you go into Meth, you go into Jizza, you go into Deck, Ray, Ghost. Solo projects is deep, and everybody got bangers. So it's like, think about it. First 5 albums, stronger than a motherfucker. First, Into the 36 Chambers, Return to the 36 Chambers, Old Dirty album, right? To Cal, Liquid Swords, Cuban Links. We still ain't get to Iron Man or Supreme Clientele yet.
Try him.
Oh, Wu-Tang Forever. Come on, man. It's like, catalog is deep, man.
Oh my God.
Catalog is deep.
Because I was thinking about that question. Even on the trailer, I was thinking about that question, and I was like, I figured like, all right, he's not really gonna give a 10 because it's like, damn, what 10 would you take? it's kind of like you got like the Costco's of hip hop. So it's like if you go to Costco, it's like, damn, you can't just take like one item. You got to take the whole.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. It's like, man, listen, it's some. Yeah, catalog is deep. I don't know how many groups or individuals have a catalog as deep as ours because there's so many of us. There's so many of us, and certain brothers got so many albums, and the Wu-Tang albums, and and I don't, even if you like, well, somebody might say, well, 8 Diagrams ain't a Wu Forever, right? It's not a 36 Chambers, but it's not meant to be. But I bet you some shit on it. Bet you pull something out on Iron Flag that'll fuck your head up.
Right.
Put something out on A Better Tomorrow that'll fuck your head up.
Because always for me when it came to the verses, or even battling itself, or when producers battle and stuff like that, it's always based on how you structure the playlist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let's say if you would pause, we would go top heavy, right? Mm-hmm. So off the rip, 36 Chambers off the rip. Let's say you just went off the first 8. Off of 36 Chambers, just because.
Yeah, if you just go,
just to play around, like, all right,
cream.
Yeah, right.
Chest boxing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like just go off first 8, just because.
7th Chamber.
Like, you know what?
Can it be?
Right. Like, you know what?
Clan in the front.
Right. I just want to play around with you guys. Here you go.
Method Man.
Then after that, Ice Cream. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Oh.
It's like.
Come on. Cuban Links album.
Cuban Links, yeah.
Ridiculous.
No, right, that's what I'm saying. Like Cuban Links alone, like the album alone, and that album had what, like 16 tracks, if I'm 15, 16?
Yeah, something like that.
Shit, the first
The Purple Tape.
12, the Purple Tape. First 12.
Look, you say the Purple Tape. You ain't even gotta say the name of the album. You say the Purple Tape. Everybody know what you're talking about. Any hip hop head or anybody who knows hip hop, you mention the Purple Tape, you know that's Cuban Links.
Like,
Well,
Jesus.
you know, I could be wrong, but what other album in hip hop could you do that with?
Yeah, no, not many. No, yeah, honestly, not many. Yo, man, yeah, you guys are really the cheat code. I hate to say it. You guys are really the cheat code. And it's not, and my Chris, I want you to understand, I'm not saying cheat code in a negative way. It's just, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like.
It's a force.
It's a force. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, what can you do?
Killer bee swarming, protect your neck.
The list goes on and on, my Chris. But real talk, but definitely for you, at the end all be all with this project with Black Samson, the Bastard Swordsman, you know what I'm saying? What is it that you're hoping, or for that matter, expecting from with this album regarding impact, regarding not even, you did mention about sound, about this how this thing sound, but for this generation to understand the distinct sound, what is your expectation of it?
You know what? I have no expectations.
Okay.
I just wanted to create something incredible. At the end of the day, I just want to create something that's appreciated by anybody who listens to it. I don't care if you're not a fan of Wu-Tang, but if you listen to it, you appreciate it. You appreciate the production value, because I'm not just, like I said, I made beats before. Like, you know, some of my early songs I produced, I was a beat maker.
Right.
You know, I made some dope beats, made some fire beats, but I learned to become a producer. I learned to, okay, this should be done like this, or let me bring you in right here, but then let me take you here, or let me showcase this right here. I understand. I learned that, you know, making a record, you know, is more than just hook, chorus. I mean, verse, hook. You know, you have B sections and different types of changes you may want to add to a song. That you know, listen to Barry White. Barry White, he'll one of his songs will rock for 3 minutes before he even starts singing, but you already sucked in. You already just vibing. You ain't realized 3 minutes went by that quick. Then he starts singing because you caught up. Isaac Hayes, another one.
Right.
Walk On By is like 12 minutes. Might be 50. It's like 12, 13 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, like Barry White, a lot of his songs is like 8 minutes, but you don't notice it. You don't notice because
it puts you in that mood. It puts you in the zone.
Mood. Yeah.
Sets you off.
Yeah, and he'll start a beat one way, then all of a sudden take you here. You're like, yo, what the fuck? David Porter, who was Isaac Hayes' partner, like they did like Soul Man and a lot of joints together. Like they produced for Sam and Dave and half of the Stacks roster. But David Porter, he has a beautiful album that tells a story. It's one of my favorite albums from beginning to end. Like it's a skit in between each song. And this is done early 70s. And he's just telling the story with the songs and with the skits. And one of the biggest songs that came out of hip hop that's been used time and time again came from this album off of a song called Afraid the Masquerade Is Over. That gave you a couple of songs. From Wu-Tang to Biggie to LL. You hear Who Shot Ya?
Oh, yeah.
That comes from that record. Wow. Duel of the Iron Mike comes from that record. Wow. Ill Bomb, produced by DJ Scratch for LL Cool J, came from that record. And countless others. I didn't, you know, When you listen to it, that record is like David Porter is incredible. He's one of my favorite producers. That's a lot of people may not know of. Norman Whitfield, another one. Norman Whitfield was he produced Papa Was a Rolling Stone, right? Damn. For the Temptations. That's another one of them records. Starts off the bass, doom doom, doom 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 doom. Then you hit.
Got you. Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
But that song alone, if that's not one of the like dopest like get up in the morning or get your day off started right songs, I don't know what is, my creatives.
Come on. and if you listen to it, he zones you out. He got the wah-wah guitar just coming in, strings. Before they even start singing, it's like, and he's a dope producer because he produced Rolls Royce. So songs like I'm Going Down and all that's Norman Whitfield. Norman Whitfield is a beast that people don't know. Like they said, he had 100 #1 hits. And he probably did. I don't know if it's factual, but
listen.
Now Rogers is incredible. He produced, Chic. That was his group, Good Times, and he produced Sister Sledge, David Bowie. Then came in the 80s, produced Madonna, Material Girl, and Like a Virgin, and all the way, like he did the whole score and soundtrack for Coming to America. So even when you heard Snoop Dogg, dash shit, doom boom boom boom, that's Nile Rodgers, that's him. Beyonce, like he's still producing. It's like incredible. It's a lot of incredible. Like it's a journey to learn and understand the music that I think as a producer you should really take the time, even music theory and realizing like the basic principles and science of mathematics to music.
Right. That's a whole fact.
Yeah, it's a beautiful journey, man. And I'm still learning. And for the fact that I'm still learning is why I still make music, because I have a passion and love for it, and I'm going to continue to do it. And my growth and development, I look at Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones was making music 60s and 70s. Like when he was in his 70s, he's still making hit records. He did Sanford and Son theme song, and it's like, come on, you made a TV show theme song that's so
iconic. You can't forget it. The minute you hear it. So let's end it off on this.
Okay.
Right. Let's end it off on this. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of producers? I know that's going to take some time, but who?
I don't do Mount Rushmore.
You don't do Mount Rushmore. Okay,
you know why? You know why? Because they only got 4 people on that mountain, and it's in the which is it, South Dakota or North Dakota?
I believe
it was in one of the Dakotas, right? And do we really know the full history of the men up on the mountains that we compare, like to be a Mount Rushmore? I get where you come from with that, right? So how I visualize it, what I do is I look at it like a Hall of Fame, or or like if it's a party going on, right? And you get, there's a lot of people at the party, but there's a special room where they having a special dinner, and there's only certain motherfuckers in there.
So let's correct that then. Let's change that. Who's going to that special dinner for you?
Okay, so as for producers or MCs or DJs, because each one is exclusive. So if you're looking at producers.
All right, so let's. I think we got some time.
Okay, let's
break down producers, DJs, and then MCs.
So for producers, I got all type of producers in it, from Curtis Mayfield to Barry White, Isaac Hayes, Stevie Wonder, Rick James, Prince, Quincy Jones, RZA, Dr. Dre, Large Professor, Pete Rock, Premier, DJ Quick. It's a lot of dudes in it. Bank, No ID.
Are you putting Hit Boy in there?
Hit Boy? Yeah, Hit Boy. Yeah, Hit Boy got some joints.
Yeah.
Look, it's a lot of dudes in there.
Cause
Jermaine Dupri.
Because not to intervene or cut off, but I remember when I interviewed Rhapsody, and I think I mentioned to her about Hit Boy. I say, I think Hit Boy is like the lyrical MC's like whisperer,
right?
Because the way he's able to like, because MCs, not saying MCs couldn't make great songs, but as far as like the ones that were like catchy and would go the synergy with their bars, it always used to be a hard contrast. But with Hit Boy, for whatever reason, God bless his skill set, it's like this. Yeah. Like a person could go hard 16, 8, 24, 42 like bars, and just it goes well with the production. You know what I'm saying? So
look at the joints he did for Nas.
Yeah, yo, perfect example.
Him and Alchemist, they did a joint together.
Right.
But, I mean, I thought that was dope. Two producers that produce and rhyme. Alchemist is in that room.
Right.
Look, Mustard is in that room.
Right.
He's a dope producer. Timbaland is in that room. He's incredible. I think he's to touch different
Did you mention
genres.
Pharrell? Because Pharrell got it.
Oh, Pharrell's in that room. Of course. Pharrell is in that room. It's a lot of dudes in that room that Nasheem, D-Dot, like the whole Wu-Tang Bad Boy thing. I remember just listening to their joints. And it's like, I guess we all wanted New York at the end of the day. But I listened with a respectful ear, like, yo, he just murdered that. That's dope. It's Easy Mo B's in that room. It's so many producers that I think is dope that's really in that room that don't get their credit. Because we always hear the same one because it's always the Mount Rushmore, your top 5.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that's what you said. I'm glad you put that analogy and put that together. So that's why I made it audible. Hut!
Yeah, all good.
All good. I saw the blitz coming. I was like, hold on, we're going to make it audible.
all good.
That's what's up. Nah, definitely.
And as far as MCs, of course, you got all Wu is in there. You got Nas in there. You got Jay in there. Ice Cube is in there. Kendrick is in there. Kanye is in both of them rooms. Kanye is he's a, dope ass producer, and he can rhyme. He spits.
If you didn't watch Yeezus alone, regardless of what's going on,
listen,
skill set is skill set.
Yeah, skill set is skill set. Everybody, listen, music is opinionated. It's
subjective.
Subjective. So I judge based on music, not on an individual. Whatever individual, that's who they are. I'm not listening because of an individual. I'm listening because of what you created.
Right.
And I'm going to appreciate that and respect that. And then I'm going to judge that.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Just Blaze is in the producers room.
Oh, yeah.
MC room, though, it's a lot of dope MCs in there. Scarface is in there. Who else?
Jada.
Jada, of course. Yeah, the Locks
is the Locks themselves.
Yeah, the Locks is in there. G-Rap, Kane, LL, the greats. Grandmaster Caz, Melly Mel, Kumo D is in that room. It's a lot of dope MCs in that room, man. DJs.
Let's go. Yeah, let's get to the DJs.
Yeah. I could keep naming.
No. The MCs is going to be forever.
Yeah, DJs. You got, rest in peace, Rock Raider. Jazzy Jeff is in there. Cash Money. DJ Scratch is in there. Stevie D.
Capri.
Kid Capri.
SNS, definitely.
SNS, Total Eclipse. All the X-Men's in there. The Scratch Pickles, they all in there. DJ Qbert. Shortcut. It's mad nice DJs in there. I could go on for days. Some of these younger cats too. Like DJ Flawless. DJ Mel Star. Crazy. It's just a lot of dudes, man, that don't get, and that's my thing. That's why, I had to put in a form because, everybody always asks the questions like, who's your top 5? Who's your Mount Rushmore? It's like, nah, it's too many individuals
that get left out.
Yeah, that for me to name certain individuals would discredit other individuals. Like, you know, how I'm gonna discredit Larry Smith? You know, Larry Smith did, you know, whether it was Larry Love or Friends, Houdini, which Nas did over again with Lauryn Hill, the great Lauryn Hill, who's in that room. While Clef is in the producer's room. The Fugees is just in the room, period.
Tribe Called Quest.
Tribe Called
Queens
Quest.
thing.
Q-Tip.
Yeah.
Q-Tip is in.
Shit.
Yeah.
Fife.
Yeah.
Fife Dog.
Come on. So come on, man. So I just want to try to give as much recognition to those who don't get it. Who, you know, a lot of people's in that room, and a lot of people can't get in that room. Not just yet, because you got a lot to prove before you get into that room.
That's a super fact.
You know.
Yeah, yo. And on that note, we're gonna end it like this.
Oh, we ain't talking about Southside Queens and Laurelton. Let's do that real quick.
All right, okay.
Real quick.
Yeah, Southside LA. Yeah, now we can talk about that. What's up?
I thought, because we was talking about, you know, I was there the last night. Pop and Kim's closed.
Oh, wow.
When they closed, I was there.
Wow.
I think, we bought the last 40 ounces in. Now, for those who don't know, Laurelton.
Yo, LA, man. LA all day, man. Shout out to Laurelton, man. Like, I gotta say, man, like, granted, you know, I'm definitely gonna rap Harlem, you know what I'm saying? My family's from both Harlem and Laurelton, you know what I'm saying? Harlem and Queens and stuff like that. But just people don't understand about Laurelton. It's so different. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can say what you want. We was the preppy bougie.
Yeah, y'all was.
We was. We was. Nah, don't get me wrong. But in the same token, though, it was like, it's hard to explain about Laurelton, son, because it's like, granted.
Y'all had a chip on your shoulder, too.
Yeah, we did. We had a chip, because you know what it was, though? I'm going to keep it a buck. And I've kind of, like, when I was younger, I argued about it. It's like, now I just like, all right, whatever. If you want to feel that way, cool. Like, I used to hate the fact, like, catchers just think, like, all right, Laurelton's Cats is soft. And it's like, I'm not trying to say, like, we was a hardcore town, but we was a soft. And you know what I'm saying? Like, granted, I get it. Because the aesthetics of what Laurelton was. Because Laurelton didn't have PJs like that.
Nah.
We didn't have the grimy
nice
streets.
Houses.
Yeah, houses. Yeah, I know. Of course.
With nice vehicles.
Houses,
driveways.
Cats that was from there, you know what I'm saying? They had the equipment. They had the whole bang. 2-family homes. If you want to 2-family or single, however it went.
Fly. When I went to school in Edison, cats from Laurelton and Cambria was
polo down, Nordica
out.
down. But you can't blame that on us because look at the mall we had. The
mall
mall was Green Acres was right there.
Yeah, y'all had the funds.
Massapequa was not too full.
Y'all could get jobs. I couldn't get a job. As soon as I put down my zip code on the job application.
Because Southside.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Southside, but it was what it was at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Southside definitely was Southside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm keeping it about even my art design days. I remember cats at art design used to come in there, Queens and all that. And me and my Queens Street, shout out to my Queens Street, Jerome and Larry, they'll co-sign this or whatever. We used to tell cats like, yo, come with us to the E-Train. That's all you gotta do. Come to the E-Train. Get off the E-Train. Last time on E-Train. Pause and Archer. Say all that far shit right there. Go ahead.
Yeah, because the bus is right there going to Laurelton.
You already know the vans and all that.
The Q3, the Q5 and all them
The
joints.
vans is all in and all that. Go ahead. Say that. Go ahead. The minute you get up the escalator right there, it's already like a good 50, 60. Jamaicans, Haitians, LB, however you want to go about it. Yep. Say it right there. Say that hot right there. And a lot of cats, we're out there, we're not doing it. All right, I figured that. You know what I'm saying? But but real talk, but even with the whole north side, south side thing, even me, when I was
Hollis.
in Queens, Hollis, Queens Village, Shady.
Hollis and Southside had a,
you know what I'm saying, Shady.
It was serious going through that terminal sometimes.
You know what I'm saying? But overall, like, for me, what I always remember about Laurelton, it was the camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? And even if I see people, let's say even in the industry too, when they find out, Reemo, I didn't know you was from Laurelton. Like, a couple of my people, shout out to my homegirl Lamar. You always say, L gang, put the L's up, LA up and all that. But for me, during those times when I was in Laurelton and just in Queens in general, man, people's gotta understand hip hop wise, it was just a different energy from us. You know what I'm saying? I guess because of the chip on the shoulder, because it's Queens or whatever have you. But if you just embrace it, and the energy and the creativity and just the flow and everything, like you said, how we put things together. You know what I'm saying? So
music brought everybody together.
Yeah, by far.
Look, Southside and Hollis, big beef back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Right? But when Run DMC came out,
right,
you don't think Southside was like, Yeah. Run DMC.
I'll even tell you when
Run
Tribe Called
DMC.
Quest.
He was repping them.
Because even Tribe Called Quest when they dropped.
Oh, yeah.
I remember my brother brought it to the block. Shout out to Mike. Mike brought it to the block. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Tribe.
Tribe was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, I was glued.
When I first heard El Segundo, I was like, what's this? But then I think the next joint was Bonita Applebum.
Boom, right.
And that right there, I was sold.
Come on, son.
I was sold on tip when I heard him on what you call it? On Jungle Brothers joint. Buddy. Well,
yes.
no, Buddy. Was it Buddy?
No, not Buddy. No, Buddy's with is that with De La? No,
that was De La.
That was De La.
Yeah.
That was De La.
Yup.
My buddy.
Yeah.
Woo! Ah, my creators. Oh man, listen. Nonetheless,
yeah.
man.
We
Mathematics,
keep
yo,
talking.
real talk, man. Please
Reemo,
bring it up,
yes,
my
sir.
brother. Thank you for this opportunity.
No problem, bro.
Much blessings to the album release. You know what I'm saying? Black Samson,
The Bastard
Swordsman. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. You already know what it is, man. My creators. This is another journey that we brought you here to Cuts, Culture, Urban Technology, and Sports. This is episode 154. You know what I'm saying? Nonetheless, man, you know where to follow us at. You know, all social media. You follow me at Reemo Meerak _. You know what I'm saying? As well as to Cuts Podcast, Culture, Urban Technology, and Sports. Watch this episode on Spotify, YouTube. Also listening to it, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google. Also DJ Chase Radio, FM, weeknights, 10 p.m. You already know what it is. You know how the slogan goes, B. Hands over the It ain't the one, baby. It's the two up. You already know what it is, man. And that's peace. We out of here, bro.
Peace.
Yes, man.